Hello and welcome to the Geeky Brummie podcast. Joining me today, Mr. Sam Edwards.
Hello.
Mr. Lee Price.
Hello.
And Mr. Keith Bloomfield.
Ho, 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 everybody.
How the devil are we all on this run up to the crazy period that is the festive season here in the UK?
Tired.
Looking forward to Christmas.
Yes, looking forward to the break. Coming up today, we will be talking about the Game Awards that have just come along. We'll be going through the BAFTA long list of nominations. There'll be a few surprises for the team as well. And we'll also be talking about who's going to be purchasing Warner Bros. Because we still don't know. Someone with lots of money is going to be buying Warner Bros. But it could be Netflix, it could be Paramount. We could have a challenger come off the top rope, we don't know. But all of that after this. It is the start of award season, so everybody knows it runs pretty much between winter and spring of each year, pretty much checking out what stuff has come out over the last 12 months. And the first one to come along is always the Golden Globes. So we're just going to have a look at some of the nominations and have our predictions on who we think is going to win. So starting off, and I'm assuming Sam's going to have very strong opinions on this one, is Best Film Drama. So we have Frankenstein, Hamnet, It Was Just an Accident, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, and Sinners.
So I've only actually seen one of these so far because I still haven't got around to Frankenstein, and some of the others aren't even out yet. But I would very happily see Sinners win this one. I suspect it probably won't, just because it came out quite a long time ago, and that's normally a bit of a death knell for nominees, but I'm very glad to see it.
And it's a horror movie.
Yeah, genre films don't tend to do too well.
Although saying that, Del Toro is in there with Frankenstein.
Yeah, true. But Del Toro seems to get a pass on the genre.
To be fair, I have seen the trailer for Hamnet, and that is touching the old costume drama, period drama, bit of romance, bit of drama story. It's story of Shakespeare, I think, and their son, and that becomes the tale of Hamlet, I believe.
Yeah, and it's Paul Mescal and Jessie Buckley who both feel.
Paul Mescal hasn't won anything yet, but he feels like he should be winning stuff by now.
Yeah. The thing about that movie is every time I see the title, I think I'm misreading it. So
it's based on a novel, I think.
Yeah.
And that was a very well received book.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sinners, I do like Sinners. It did very good technically, so I think it might win a lot more technical awards rather than actual proper awards. Well, not proper awards, sorry. more the traditional
prestige awards,
large type
say.
prestige awards, yes. I think it's going to win a lot of technical stuff, especially with the way they did 2 Michael B. Jordans, which is a lot of dreams for some people. Anything around It Was Just an Accident or The Secret Agent? Because I've not really heard of either of these.
I don't know much about either of those either, to be honest. I think they're both in the non-English language film category as well,
right,
which probably means they haven't
won't
had or won't get a big release over here, but you never know.
Cool. All right, moving on to Best Film, Musical or Comedy. So we've got Blue Moon, Begonia, which feels weird being in the comedy category for that. Marty Supreme, No Other Choice, Nouvelle Vague, and One Battle After Another. So one thing I was going to say about this, no musical biopics this year.
No.
Which is quite a surprise because there's been a fair few released.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, comedy-wise, I mean, Begonia, would you call it a comedy?
I think it's a dark comedy. I think a lot of Yorgos Lanthimos' films sort of
kind of blur
have
that boundary.
Dark comedy element, even though they are very much on the dark side. There were definitely funny moments in there.
Yeah. I mean, assuming Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another is probably the tip to pick on out of all of them.
Yeah, it's weird that a lot of these films weren't massively successful at the box office. They've all been kind of middling kind of films that really haven't kind of set the box office on fire. I think One Battle After Another, probably because it's Paul Thomas Anderson, and it's a much more accessible one. I think Begonia is a bit of a kind of weird left field choice because it's
and
a bit of a quirk.
I will say that out of all of them, that's probably the only one that I've heard of generally. Like Begonia, I've heard of because of Sam, and literally that's it. And but One Battle After Another, I've heard more talk around in general.
But saying that, Poor Things did relatively well a couple of years back. So
Marty Supreme is out over Christmas, I think, and that's about it's got guy, his name is completely gone out of my head. Timothy Chalamet, thank you. Yes, really famous guy with a really distinctive name.
Some unheard of actor.
Brain. And it's a sort of table tennis film, but that's getting really good reviews from what I've seen so far. So that it could be a contender. And Blue Moon, I think I've missed in the cinema now, but that looked quite good fun as well. It's about the person who was the sort of writing partner with one of them before they went on to become this massive double act, and him trying to deal with that. But it looks like quite a sweet film.
Cool.
Just with the film, Sam, do you think it's a bit kind of unfortunate for us as Brits? Because I find it happens quite a lot with the Golden Globes and with the Oscars that we often don't get many of the big contenders until quite late on. We might get them in February or just before the Oscars, but sometimes we're getting films kind of like, a month or so after the results.
It's kind of weird we have that kind of wasteland between October half term when you'll get the last batch of kids' films.
Yeah.
And then pretty much we have kind of a bit of a desert until Christmas.
Yeah, was it like The Holdovers last year? It's a Christmassy movie, and I think we got it after the Oscars, didn't we, in the UK? It was the release schedule's really weird in Britain.
It seems like they hold off shipping them elsewhere until they get that award buzz.
The award buzz,
So they can then put it on the poster. But moving swiftly on, best animated film. So we have Arco, Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, Infinity Castle, which is a very big film this year for the anime genre. Elio, Pixar's very quiet film that came out and nobody realised existed.
Yeah, that exists.
And then K-pop Demon Hunters, which will probably win just because it's K-pop Demon Hunters. Little Amelie, or The Character of Rain, and Zootopia 2, which I know you watched a couple of weeks ago, was it, Sam?
Yeah, I loved Zootopia. I did love Elio as well. I think those are I have seen K-pop Demon Hunters as well. I think I preferred Zootopia and Elio to K-pop Demon Hunters personally, but I know it's been a huge cultural phenomenon.
From Halloween, every single little girl was dressed as one of the K-pop Demon Hunters characters.
And seeing as they always say, oh, well, we're adults, we don't watch any of these films, we'll let our kids decide which film's going to win. Yeah. So I think it's a dead cert for K-pop Demon Hunters.
The fact that they had to release a sing-along version on Netflix because everybody was just singing along anyway.
It's like, it's also just like captured cultural things elsewhere, considering that it got to like the top of Golden got to the top of the UK charts.
Yeah.
And the Billboard charts in America, so you've got that going for it too.
Yeah.
And it's still in the public eye because it's there on Netflix. A lot of the other films have kind of like had their releases and are kind of, you can't really rewatch them again.
I'm sure there are parents who don't like the fact it's on Netflix.
It's the new Frozen.
Golden is the new Let It Go, I think.
Yeah. So,
even though What It Sounds Like is the better song.
Right, we'll move swiftly on to Best Female Actor and Best Male Actor in Dramas. Bit weird that they've still got this separate, because I know a lot of award ceremonies are changing to Best Actor, Actor categories and mixing it up a bit. I suppose having them separate means that there's two awards rather than one. But so Best Female Actor, so we have Jessie Buckley for Hamnet, Jennifer Lawrence for Die My Love, Renate Rainsby for Sentimental Value, Julia Roberts for After the Hunt, Tessa Thompson for Heather, and Eva Victor for Sorry Baby.
I think the only one I've seen so far is Die My Love. It was an incredible performance from Jennifer Lawrence. I'm very glad to see her nominated on there. I suspect Jessie Buckley might be in the running, but again, hard to say, having not seen Hamnet yet.
And Julia Roberts, pretty much anything she acts in, she pretty much just turns up.
I'd say, even though I've not seen either of the films, I'd say it's a 2-horse race between Jennifer Lawrence and Jessie Buckley.
Yeah.
I'd prefer it to go to Lawrence, just because I have a hard time with Jessie Buckley. But I think because that film's getting the buzz at the moment, I think that's probably going to steer voters in that direction.
Yeah.
So, best male actor for drama. So we've got Joel Edgerton for Train Dreams, Oscar Isaac for Frankenstein, Dwayne Johnson for The Smashing Machine, who is unrecognisable if you've seen that film, Michael B. Jordan for Sinners, Wagner Moura for The Secret Agent, and Jeremy Allen White for Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere.
Which Michael B. Jordan now?
Does he get to pick up 2 awards if he wins?
Yeah, they should give him 2.
But yeah, I mean, I have seen Jeremy Allen White in Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. It was a great performance. Jeremy Allen White is, well, pretty much most people I know from Shameless or The Bear. But yeah, it was a fantastic performance, and he pretty much nailed the Springsteen voice, which is tough going to try and sing that style. So I think he did really well. Dwayne Johnson trying to break out the wearing a khaki shirt with a bald head in the middle of a jungle somewhere stereotype character that he's played for about 25 films now. Oscar Isaac and Joel Edgerton, always solid actors. I'm surprised Jacob Elordi's not in there for Frankenstein rather than Oscar Isaac.
I think he's
I don't know,
further down.
It's probably not. It's not a major role. I think
Supporting actor, I think.
Yeah.
He gets
Yeah.
it nominated.
I think Joel Edgerton's got a good chance because there's been a lot of good buzz around Train Dreams,
Yeah.
which is an Apple TV film. Apple TV.
I don't know all that much about it.
One of those, I think. Yeah, but that's been getting a lot of buzz. So I think he's got a good chance with that.
Yeah. And as in musical biopics, it's not won anywhere else, so I think there's probably a strong chance.
I
Jeremy
think
Allen
I think
might
that
get it.
the day of the musical biopic has come and gone, and everybody's remembered that they gave an Oscar to Rami Malek, and they've gone, yeah, that's not a good look.
Yeah. So moving on to musical or comedy for best female or male actor. Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs I'll Kick You. Cynthia Erivo for A Wicked for Good. Kate Hudson for Song Song Blue. Chase Infinity for One Battle After Another. Amanda Seyfried for The Test Me of Anne Lee. And Emma Stone for Begonia. It's going to be Emma Stone in it.
I'm really happy to see Chase Infinity in there because she played Leonardo DiCaprio's daughter in One Battle After Another, and despite it being like a relatively early point in her career, completely held her own opposite these massive Hollywood A-lister names. And yeah, for me, she was one of the sort of standout performances in that film. That being said, I'd be surprised if she wins it, just because she is so young and there's some other big names in there.
Yeah, I think everybody's over the Wicked hype train as well now.
Yeah, the second film hasn't done as well as the first, and I think if Cynthia Erivo didn't win the awards for this last year, then...
I think we've all seen more of the off-screen antics rather than the actual film this time around, unfortunately.
Yes.
But yeah. Best male actor, Timothy Chalamet for Mighty Supreme. George Clooney for Jay Kelly, which I saw the trailer for and looks very interesting because it's about an actor coming to the twilight of his career who's not as popular anymore, and it's like, is this just you, George? Do you need to act? Leonardo DiCaprio for One Battle After Another. Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon, which again, absolutely fantastic.
One of the names I was trying to think of earlier.
Lee Byung-hun for No Other Choice, and then Jesse Plemons for Begonia.
So,
do you think it might be a Begonia double?
Maybe.
I'd like to see it go to Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
Just because, a little bit because of his entire career and stuff. I think George Clooney's just playing George Clooney, so I don't think that's that's valid.
Toughest role of his career.
Yeah, I mean, and DiCaprio's got a good chance because it's quite, he's got pretty. It's a good performance. It's kind of slightly off character because he's not playing like the most handsome man in the world. He's a bit of a wreck.
Yeah.
So it'd be quite nice. So I think I'd kind of like I think it's a two-way race for me between Caprio and Hawke, really.
I suspect Timothy Chalamet might be in with a shout, depending on how well Marty Supreme does. DiCaprio's broken his no-win streak.
It's Andy's award now. Everybody's quiet down now. You've had your award.
Yeah, he's won one. That's all you get.
So moving on to best
Yeah.
supporting, so female and male. So we've got Emily Blunt for The Smashing Machine, Elle Fanning for Sentimental Value, Ariana Grande for Wicked for Good, Inga Ibsdorter Lilias for Sentimental Value, Amy Madigan for Weapons, Tiana Taylor for One Battle After Another.
It's another strong one.
Yeah.
See, I give it to Amy Madigan for Weapons because that performance was in another film entirely to what was going on in that movie.
I mean, the thing with Emily Blunt is she played, this is going to sound probably ridiculous, but she's played a very similar role in Oppenheimer, which is a long-suffering wife with a kind of weirdly abusive husband, but in a different kind of way. So it's kind of, it's not that distinct a role for me.
Yeah. I mean, I've not seen enough of these films to make a good choice. And I think a supporting actress is always a real tricky one.
Yeah, and I think, again, Ariana Grande, unfortunately, not really going to win with this one, I don't think.
Well, you'd say if Cynthia can't win the major role, giving the supporting to Ariana, that's not good. I
mean, it is worth saying as well, though, both of them do give a fantastic performance in Wicked for Good. They are worthy of being on there, but I think the first Wicked film is more deserving of the awards. Yeah,
and I think it's being a musical kind of hampers it a little bit, because of the others are very strong dramatic performances, which the judges usually favour to a certain extent. And then best supporting male, so we've got Benicio del Toro for One Battle After Another, Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein, as you mentioned, Paul Mescal for Hamlet, Sean Penn for One Battle After Another, Adam Sandler for Jay Kelly, and Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value. At least one Skarsgård per year, isn't there? Do you think there's like a mandate? It's got to be either a Culkin or a Skarsgård per annum gets at least one nomination.
It's just like kind of funny because since we're going to be getting onto it, Stellan Skarsgård did actually show up at the Game Awards as well.
Yes.
I mean, Skarsgård's got a chance for that because the thing, the performances in that film is what's selling Sentimental Value. I'd like it to go to Adam Sandler just because, I just want him to win awards. It's like me fine. And I like
Mescal's solid. Mescal is always a great actor. I mean, we haven't seen Hamlet yet, but
I do. I mean, I like Del Toro, so he's just kind of cool, and he was great in the Phoenician Scheme as well.
Well, that's the thing. He works best as almost like an overblown cameo character. Yeah. He works best like 20 minutes max of Del Toro is all you need for your film.
Which in the best supporting actor role should be when he pops up, it's like, that was a good bit.
He's a good seasoning.
Yeah.
He was probably the best thing out of The Last Jedi, and that's saying something.
Sean Penn was very, a really awful, horrible baddie in One Battle After Another.
Again,
basically just playing
doesn't really have to play that
way. Because until you and said he was playing a baddie, I thought you were just commenting on Sean.
So we'll go for cinematic and box office achievement. So Avatar.
Let's rewind a second. What on earth does that mean? What does
in
cinematic
other words,
and box office achievement
this is a big
mean?
film that we have to give some nod to because that's what's currently saving cinema.
Yes,
but it's not a proper film.
Look, here's some films that you actually saw.
Yeah, it's not a proper worthy film, but we'll give it a nod.
The game's
It's such a bizarre category. It's like, we don't really want to give you an award, but because you bring it in the box office and we'd all be broke if
I list the nominees, could you see these getting any other awards?
But there is a couple in there that are going to get.
So we've got Avatar, Fire and Ash. We have F1, the Brad Pitt money-making vehicle. K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, which is the first time we've seen it pop up. Which I think Tom Cruise is probably going to be very angry about that no nominations have come to him for Best Actor so far. Sinners, Weapons, Wicked for Good, and Zootopia 2.
I think this is the first category where, as of next weekend, I will have seen all of them.
I reckon it will go to Avatar.
I think it'll go to K-pop Demon Hunters.
Do you think? I think because it's nominated in other categories. I think this is the category they can go, you weren't good enough to win a proper award, so we're going to give it to you in this.
But it's the whole cultural relevance of Avatar. It's just the film appears, it makes lots of money, and then evaporates until the next time it's in the cinemas.
It's an interesting one because those two do feel like front runners, but For box office achievement,
Weapons,
Avatar
to
hasn't
be
come
fair.
out yet,
Yeah.
so it's hard to say what its box office achievement is going to be.
Oh, it'd be so funny if it
and-
flops.
It says it says it kind of like hedges its bets because it goes cinematic
Yeah.
and box office.
Well, if
so
you
it's
look at
like
K-pop Demon Hunters had a Netflix release first, and that was where it had most of its
yeah.
money. So that
not
like,
quite
it did,
cinematic, not quite box office.
it did get a cinema release, probably mostly because they wanted to get a bit of box office out of it.
And also, you have to get it in if you want it to
Yes.
be awards
So,
capable.
yeah.
But I think probably most money earned versus money spent is probably Weapons, though.
Yeah.
Because it was quite a tight budget, low horror film. What was the previous film? Starts with a B.
Barbarian.
Barbarian. Because
Yeah.
that one got a lot of buzz, but didn't really get that much in the way of nominations. So is this the kind of, sorry, we've got to give you something for Barbarian. Here's Weapons.
I think this is your typical blockbuster thing. So I'd say it's Avatar, Mission Impossible, or the kind of like big ones for that. Just to kind of like go,
Think it might-
you're getting
yeah.
bums on seats.
It's probably going to be Mission Impossible because it's the last opportunity to give Mission Impossible something, isn't it, until it gets rebooted in about 10 years' time.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair point.
And then Best Director. So Paul Thomas Anderson, One Battle After Another, Ryan Coogler for Sinners, Guillermo del Toro for Frankenstein, Jafar Panahi for It Was Just an Accident, Joachim Trier for Sentimental Value, or Chloe Zhao for Hamnet.
I think it's going to be Paul Thomas Anderson.
Everybody loves Paul Thomas Anderson. He always brings something unique to every movie, doesn't he? That's the joy of him.
See, I've got a strong suspicion that Hamnet, which isn't a
Chloe
good
Zhao is a bit
dark
of a
web link.
Yeah.
I think Hamlet's going to be the film that surprises everybody this year. And
Yeah.
it's going to do well at all the awards.
Yeah, and Chloe Zhao is a bit of an indie darling, isn't she?
Yeah, and it's all the kind of like I shoot in natural light type thing. So as a director,
Yeah.
although I'd like to see Ryan Coogler get it because there were some stunningly brilliant sequences in Sinners.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the whole kind of middle sequence in the bar. I mean, some people kind of didn't really vibe with that, but I thought that was a great sequence. Like, just
it
literally,
was a great scene.
it almost stopped the movie, but you kind of went, "Wow!" Like,
Yeah.
it literally did.
Yeah.
You just
It
literally
was a set
went,
piece.
"Geez, that was."
It was the definition of a set piece.
Yeah,
really.
it was a great sequence.
Yeah. I mean, any love for Guillermo del Toro, or do we think he's found his niche? We all know he's going to produce a fairly workable, good horror film.
I always love Guillermo del Toro. I don't think Frankenstein has gone down well enough for him
No.
to win it this year.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a mixed bag. I mean, there's lots. I think it'll win in kind of like costume, set design, kind of that kind of categories. But I don't think it's Del Toro's best work.
No.
Yeah. So I'm going to skip past best screenplay. We'll move on to best original song.
Who cares about the writers?
Well, it's pretty much most of the directors, to be fair, because you got Ryan Coogler, Paul Thomas Anderson, and Chloe Zhao back again.
Yeah.
So it's like, if we're not going to win for director, we'll probably get
It's
one
the
of
whole
screenplay
write
ones.
the theme tune, sing the theme tune. Yeah.
And as the writer in the room, don't worry, I'm used to being sidelined.
Yeah, so yeah, we don't need you. We'll fix it in post, Lee. It's all good.
Well, the reason I wanted to put up best original song because we've got a weird double in there for the same person, which doesn't really happen that often. So we got Miley Cyrus, Andrew Wyatt, Mark Ronson, Simon Franklin for Avatar: Fire and Ash, Dreamers 1.
Okay, that's
sounds
a
like a
bunch of
banger.
stuff that I didn't expect to go together.
Miley Cyrus and Mark Ronson. Meh.
Yeah, like that I understood, and then Avatar crashed in, and I was like, excuse me.
I'm going to absolutely butcher these names, so apologies in advance. Jung Kyung Kwak, Yu Han Lee, Hye Dong Nam, Jong Hun Seo, Park Hung Jun, Kim Yoon Jae, or EJ AE,
yeah, let's go with that.
and Mark Sonnenblick
Where to?
for K-pop Demon Hunters Golden, which we all know is going to win.
Yeah.
Raphael Sadiq, Ludwig Göransson for Sinners, I Lied to You. Ludwig Göransson we know very much from the Mandalorian stuff and other Star Wars bits. Stephen Schwartz, Wicked for Good, No Place Like Home. Stephen Schwartz, Wicked for Good, The Girl in the Bubble. And then Nick Cave, Bryce Dessner for Train Dreams. And Train Dreams.
Yeah.
Nice to see Nick Cave getting on.
Yeah. It's K-pop Demon Hunters, isn't it? It's like,
It's going to be.
It's the song of 2025. That and
Yeah.
And then, yeah. So moving over to the TV side, Let's have a mooch. Sorry, 2 seconds.
TV.
I'm scrolling. Somebody fill.
They got pictures.
I've got them in front of me if you want me to go.
Yeah, you go.
Okay, best drama series. We have The Diplomat, The Pit, Pluribus, Severance, Slow Horses, and The White Lotus.
So The Pit is basically ER version 2.
It's ER 24.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we've still been, whatever comes out of this whole Warner Bros thing, later, we'll talk about later on, the fact that we have not got The Pit yet, and they've held it over. They did put it on Sky Atlantic. They were going to hold it over till HBO Max turned up in the UK, and now who knows what's going to happen with all of that.
Yes.
So I really wanted to watch that.
But Apple TV has knocked it out of the park with 3 noms. Pluribus, Severance, Slow Horses.
Of which I only really like Severance.
You don't like Pluribus? It's Vince Gilligan.
I have very strong opinions about Pluribus because when it comes to this, I am definitely the Carol.
But it's Vince Gilligan, so he's coming off the back of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, which
see, I didn't like Breaking Bad, and I never watched Never Call Saul. Sorry.
Well, Keith, did you watch The X-Files because you worked on that too?
I watched The X-Files. He only wrote a couple of episodes, but he did write very good episodes of The X-Files, so I'll give him that.
Slow Horses is the new Gary Oldman vehicle, apparently. Everybody seems to love it. Just more
5 seasons?
5th season now, yeah.
5 seasons?
And it thoroughly deserves to be on there. I love Slow Horses. It's
The White
something
Lotus,
I look forward to.
I gave up on halfway through series 3.
Oh, no, I loved it.
It's too slow.
See,
There's a slow burner series, and then there's absolutely nothing happening for 4 episodes.
I think the 3rd season that they've just done of White Lotus hasn't held up to the previous ones. I don't think it's been as well received.
No.
Just because I don't know whether the format's getting a little bit stale. But I don't really know what they'll go for on this. I imagine because of the buzz, Pluribus stands a good chance, but that's not for me. Sorry.
Severance is season 2?
Severance is too weird. People won't go for that.
And The White Lotus, as you said, it's already won stuff 2 years running.
But nobody in the UK knows anything about The Pit apart from it's Noah Wiley. But I want to see that show.
And then, musical or comedy. So, Sam, do you want to go?
So we've got Abbott Elementary, The Bear, Hacks, Nobody Wants This, Only Murders in the Building, and The Studio.
So, The Studio, again, not seen Apple TV, but I've heard it's really good. And
I love Only Murders in the Building. That's great. Seeing Steve Martin, Selena Gomez, and Martin Short.
Season 5, is it?
It's just so much fun. It'll be The Studio, I think.
I mean, I do
Abbott
love
Elementary
The
is
Bear.
good.
The Bear is still quality TV, regardless. Abbott Elementary is a great standard comedy.
I'm such a trash TV watcher because I'm not a big fan of The Bear either. I think if it's kind of elevated TV, I'm like, like.
Well, if it makes you feel better, Keith, I just don't do TV.
I just love how The Bear is in the comedy because they tried to avoid Severance and drama, so they stuck themselves in the comedy character. And now they're completely stuck in this comedy category, and they're not a comedy.
I've seen Nobody Wants This listed in lots of people's worst TV of the year categories in the last couple of weeks.
So it might win them.
So clearly,
Hacks
clearly,
that'll win.
Nobody wants this.
I think Hacks has got
I bet every single reviewer was just like, "Oh, we've got a title for this one."
I mean, Gene Smart does a good job in Hacks.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, Abbott, I don't know how much longer it's going to run, so it does feel like it might get a nod.
I don't think it's the strongest winner in that list.
So, limited series, anthology series, or motion picture made for television. They're adding more stuff to this every single year.
At least it's not a televisual experience.
So we all know what's going to win, but we'll go for the list anyway. So, Sam?
So we've got Adolescence, All Her Fault, The Beast in Me, Black Mirror, Dying for Sex, and The Girlfriend.
So Adolescence, all agree?
There we go, we will. I didn't even watch TV, and even I'm like, it's going to be
I didn't even watch that. It's like
I only watched it quite recently, but it's a powerful thing.
Saying that, I've not watched Black Mirror either, so.
Yeah. Best performance by a female actor in a television series / drama.
So we've got Kathy Bates for Matlock, Britt Lower for Severance, Helen Mirren for Mobland, Bella Ramsey for The Last of Us, Kerry Russell for The Diplomat, and Rhea Seehorn for Pluribus.
Oh God, if Bella Ramsey wins that, it's going to cause such a meltdown online.
I think it's a 2-horse race there.
Helen Mirren.
know. I'd have said it was Britt Lauer and Rishit's Seahorn.
Yeah, surprising.
I think those two.
Kerry Russell is the lead for The Diplomat, though, so she's probably.
I think, but yeah, who knows?
Okay, best performance by a male actor, the Somnian hero who I would like to win, who is not going to win, but we'll go through the list.
Sterling K. Brown for Paradise, Diego Luna for Andor, Gary Oldman for Slow Horses, Mark Ruffalo for Task, Adam Scott for Severance, and Noah Weil for The Pit. I'm guessing it's Diego Luna that you've...
Diego Luna should win this award because Andor is an amazing series, and if you don't like Star Wars, go and watch Andor. Really.
Has everybody
if you
forgotten?
do like Star Wars, do go and watch Andor as well if you haven't already.
Has everybody forgotten that Andor was out this year? Because I've seen a lot of kind of end-of-year lists of the best TV, and it's not in it.
I think it's in because it was so early. People have just forgotten that it was because it was the Christmas New Year period, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it falls into that void hole, unfortunately. I mean, Adam Scott for Severance is probably going to be a pick. Gary Oldman for Slow Horses because he is the vehicle for that entire series.
The Pit was a big hit. I think Noah Wiley's got a good chance.
He's got enough of those from ER. It's the same role.
Although I did like Sterling K. Brown. I kind of liked Paradise.
I love Sterling K. Brown. So move on to musical or comedy for female actress.
So we've got Kristen Bell for Nobody Wants This, Ayo Edebiri for The Bear, Selena Gomez for Only Murders in the Building, Natasha Lyonne for Poker Face, Jenna Ortega for Wednesday, and Jean Smart for Hacks.
Mm-hmm.
Please give it to Natasha Lyonne
as
a way of going, we've canned your show, but here's an award.
Well, the weird thing with that is they've canned the show, but but she and the showrunner have been talking about bringing it back, but with... They're hoping for...
A different name and a different lead character?
No, the same lead character.
Sort of.
Like same concept, same name.
Just slightly different enough that it just gets
Ryan Johnson.
Peter Dinklage is the name that they're
banding around. The new Toxic
Natasha,
Avenger.
Which, great.
Again, Selena Gomez, Only Murders. I would like it for also to go to her. She's great. Jenna Ortega, Wednesday is just a cultural phenomenon. It's kind of revived the entire Addams Family friend. Ayo Edebiri always does good in The Bear. I know it's not your particular cup of tea, Keith, but she's fantastic in it, and I think she's one of the highlights out of the series.
I think Jean Smart would be a solid bet because I think Hacks is a really kind of well received show.
Yeah.
And then we'll kind of wrap up pretty quickly with best performance by a female actor in a limited series, anthology series, or motion picture made for television, and best performance by a male actor in a television series, musical or comedy. Limited anthology. Do you want to go for those?
Yeah.
Or do you want me to?
So we've got Claire Danes for The Beast in Me, Rashida Jones for Black Mirror, Amanda Seyfried for Long Bright River, Sarah Snook for All Her Fault, Michelle Williams for Dying for Sex, and Robin Wright for The Girlfriend.
All pretty strong cast.
I think the only one I've seen is Black Mirror.
And Rashida Jones is great in that, but
I think Michelle Williams, the Dying for Sex show was a pretty decent show, and it's quite a decent performance from her. It's quite a good. So those kind of categories, it's all a bit of kind of like everybody's really good.
Yeah. And then best performance by a male actor in TV series, musical or comedy.
So we've got Adam Brody for Nobody Wants This, Steve Martin for Only Murders in the Building, Glenn Powell for Chad Powers, Seth Rogen for The Studio, Martin Short for Only Murders, and Jeremy Allen White for The Bear.
So it's going to go to either Martin or Steve, I think.
No, it's going to go to Seth Rogen, because if it goes to Martin Short or Steve Martin, they're just going to scrap over. Like, so I was better than you in this show.
But
that's just mean.
But then that just gives us material for season 6, because they're just going to bicker for the entire.
They're coming to London for season 6, which is the best thing. It'll go to Rogen, the studio. Everybody loved The Studio.
Yeah.
But maybe do give it to Martin Short, just to go, he's better than you, Steve. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll skip over supporting. So, best performance by a male actor in a limited series, anthology series, or a motion picture made for television.
So we have Jacob Elordi for The Narrow Road to the Deep North, Paul Giamatti for Black Mirror, Stephen Graham for Adolescence, Charlie Hunnam for Monster: The Ed Gein Story, Jude Law for Black Rabbit, and Matthew Rhys for The Beast in Me.
So that's Stephen Graham, isn't it?
I think
Yep,
it's gotta
Stephen
be
Graham.
Stephen Graham.
Stephen Graham for playing an angry Scousman.
You won a load of awards in the BAFTAs like ages ago, so round off your year.
Yep.
He's more of an upset Scousman in this than an angry Scousman, to be fair.
Still angry at certain points.
Yes. Yeah.
He was great also in the Bruce Springsteen documentary where he played
His
an
dad, yeah.
angry, not Scousman. But yeah, we'll wrap it up there for this bit and then we'll come back with the Game Awards shortly. But Jeff Keighley graced the internet with his presence again to bring us his latest round of sponsored content and occasional awards and some trailers. So it was the Game Awards. I think we all know who majorly won. I mean, there are a few other winners which we will touch over. But do you want to go for the awards first, or do we want to go for the trailers first?
I'm going to go through the awards because it's pretty straightforward.
Yep.
I wonder why.
Because you may have noticed this year that there is a game that was released from a new French studio called Sunfall Interactive, who are so new they don't even have a Wikipedia page. It's just black on Wikipedia. And yeah, it has basically swept everything. It has won Game of the Year, Best Game Direction, Best Narrative, Best Art Direction, Best Score and Music, Best Performance for Jennifer English as Mael, Best Independent Game and Best Debut Indie Game, which those two are controversial. We can talk about that in a second, I think. Yep. And Best RPG. The only two categories it was nominated for that it did not win were Best Audio Design, which went to Battlefield 6, but to be fair, having played the game, I'll say that the audio isn't necessarily anything to really write home about in Expedition 33, and like, although the irony I've read is that a lot of people are saying that Battlefield 6 apparently has a patch that has ruined the audio design, which
sounds like sounds like typically EA.
And then Player's Voice was the other one it lost, which it lost to Wuthering Waves, a gacha game that came out last year. And the only reason it won that is because with these gacha companies, they really like to bribe their players to vote for these awards. Mm-hmm. So
it was going to be that old Genshin or...
Genshin was in there, so, and that was also notorious for doing that. So
I mean, score/soundtrack. The Clair Obscur soundtrack, if you haven't heard it, is one of the greatest video game soundtracks.
So there was something interesting about that I read. In fact, it was just this morning when I watched it. It was a video about the score, and basically talking about how the composer, instead of just writing for the instruments like a composer generally would, sort of like, I'm going to write, around, like, this is a cello part, this does this. He wrote songs and then arranged them, and that's how he did the score. And I think that's what's made it so strong, because everything has got like a strong melody and everything, it's, and then it has been arranged for that purpose.
Yeah. So though Charlie Cox commented when the game first came out about doing his voice acting, because he feels like he's a bit of a fraud, because he said he basically just went into a sound booth for less than a week, recorded all of his lines. He did one
session, I believe, and he did the whole game in that one session. Yeah. And because he doesn't really play games, he hasn't really engaged with it, and so everyone's asking him loads of questions about it. It's just like, I don't know, it was one day's work.
But it's kind of his performance is quite emotional in it when you listen to it. It's like the game, it's amazing. But it's just like he's just like.
Yeah, because he was nominated for Best Performance. He was one of the 6 nominees for that category. 3 of them were Expedition 33, because there was him as Gustav, and then there was Ben Starr as Verso, as well as Jennifer English as Mael, who won. Mm-hmm. Honestly, one comment I've seen on this, and I definitely agree with this, is it shouldn't have been Charlie Cox who was nominated. It should have been Andy Serkis.
Yeah,
because he plays like, the main villain, the main antagonist of it, and he is just a presence the whole time.
Yeah.
And, that's definitely, it's kind of funny that it's like one of the few voice roles he's done in video games where he hasn't done the mocap as well.
Yeah. I mean, why do you think it's such a success? I've seen so many memes about Ubisoft, like the Homelander just sat watching the audience with a grumpy face and like just watching Clair Obscur win everything, because these are just a bunch of ex-Ubisoft devs, which is probably your point around, are they indie or not?
So the thing about So the studio is interesting because, yes, the director is ex-Ubisoft, but I think 2/3 of the core team are actually relatively new developers. So they're actually fairly new to the industry. That some of it, especially like the composer, it's his first game credit.
Yeah.
They found him on SoundCloud and just thought, oh, he did some good work, let's hire him. But I think part of it is this, we're seeing a lot of a shift in the games industry at the moment of like big companies are putting out worse games at higher prices, and this is like made by a smaller team, it's high quality, and it's just like...
I think it's the same thing we're seeing in cinema as well. It's the constant sequels of stuff.
Yeah. And I think
you can't just have an original title and leave it there. If it's successful, it's got to have about 30 different follow-ups and spin-offs.
Because like it is my game of the year. Like I really like, obviously you said the score was great, but I think just the art direction is superb as well. It's got like, it's very sort of Art Nouveau inspired.
Yeah.
And it's got like just these weird landscapes of stuff, like just like the starting area is basically Paris, but what if we twisted it?
Yeah, I think it's one of the most beautiful opening acts of any game as well, because it just completely sets the tone for the rest of the game.
Story-wise, it's great. Like just the premise is intriguing to begin with, but it really goes into some interesting places with it. It swerves into Act 3, which has been, some people have liked where it went and some people hated it. I'm very much in the favour of, I really liked what it did there. And just obviously the performances are great. The gameplay has some really interesting ideas going on. It's taken all of these RPG elements and I think one of the problems I've seen online though is that people seem to be saying, oh, it's this really innovative thing that's pushing the JRPG forward. But I'm like, no.
It's an FRPG.
But my opinion on it is that it basically took a lot of really good stuff from other JRPGs. This is a team that you can tell really loved the genre and just wanted to make something. And they've taken bits from like everywhere, put it into one system, and that's all it is. There's nothing particularly innovative about it. It's one of those games that takes a lot of really good ideas that have existed elsewhere, combines them in a way that just works as a collective whole, and then tied it to a cultural identity you don't really see in the genre because the team's French and they decided if these types of RPGs are normally Japanese, well, we're going to go hard on it being French.
Yeah. I mean, I feel kind of sorry for the Silksong guys. It's like they finally released it after so long, so much anticipation, and it was pretty much about as nominated as well as Clair Obscur. It's just not won pretty much anything because Clair Obscur has just dominated so much.
Silksong did win Best Action Adventure Game.
Yeah.
Because it didn't have competition from Expedition 33. What did it actually have? It had competition from Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei, Indiana Jones, and Split Fiction. In fact, Indiana Jones, I think that was like that and Best Performance were the only awards it was nominated for. Because similar to like you were talking about with the Golden Globes and things releasing at a certain point of the year, because Indiana Jones released last December, I think everybody's forgotten about it. Yeah.
I mean, I hate this award as well. Anticipated game, which of course it's going to be Grand Theft Auto 6. It's been
second year in a row.
Been like anticipated game forever. So
I don't really care much about the anticipated game, honestly, because it's just like, all right.
It seems a nonsense category to vote for something that you've never played and giving it an award. It's like, it just seems a nonsense category. It's like,
if it fails completely when it does come out, it would have won a load of awards.
It's like going, oh, I want you to vote for your most anticipated cash reward. You've got £1, £20, £1,000, or £1 million. Which one are you most excited? Oh, I'm going to go for that one. It seems like an absolute nonsense category.
I'm surprised Counter-Strike 2 wasn't an esports game because that just keeps soldering on in the background forever.
I mean, esports is like kind of the forgotten category that no one ever really pays much attention to. Like, I love what, like, I did read like, best esports athlete has gone to Chovy, and I'm like, okay.
I think for a certain part of the audience, that's a big deal. I mean, there were two categories that I voted not the winners. which was multiplayer and adaptation. So I don't know what you...
Yeah, as I say, multiplayer Ark Raiders has pretty much just come out the gate.
Yeah.
Barnstorming. I think it seems to be something that's actually been crafted with some care. And again, it's not a sequel attached to another franchise.
But then Lee hooked me up with Split Fiction in the earlier part of the year, and that's what I voted for.
Yeah, so
because there was something about that game as a multiplayer game that I just thought was a little bit more kind of old school, but
so the thing with
it's different.
The thing about
people see
best
that as a multiplayer game, though. That's the problem.
Yeah. I think, but the thing about best multiplayer is I think that all of them, like, really could have stood a chance of winning because, like I said, Ark Raiders came out and was just like took everything by storm. But so did Battlefield 6 has been doing really well. Peak was definitely a game that sort of was propelled almost entirely by streaming. And that took off in a big way, and Elden Ring Night Rain obviously got a lot of attention because
I was surprised that Helldivers didn't end up in that category.
Yeah,
it being made available to Xbox players.
It didn't come out this year though.
Came out last year.
But does it coming to Xbox?
No.
But
no. Okay.
Yeah.
It's initial release
I mean,
year.
it could go for ongoing game, but that was
Yeah,
No
that's
Man's
true.
Sky, which, to be honest, is such a different game from launch. I think it and Cyberpunk have like transformed so much over the years. But as you said, best adaptation, Last of Us Season 2. I was quite surprised.
Well, the thing about best adaptation is this year it's not great, honestly. Like all of the nominees are kind of not well received, and it feels like we just kind of shoved whatever came out in here because we didn't really have anything better. What's surprising is they didn't put Sonic 3 in there because Sonic 3 released last December and therefore was eligible.
Yeah,
and I think
probably the biggest.
It would have been much better, and it's also reviewed better, and you know.
Yeah.
Because Last of Us Season 2, I think Last of Us Season 2 is probably the best of the bunch in terms of just, because again, it's the HBO prestige thing, even if like there's been mixed reactions to Season 2. But when it's up against the Minecraft movie, the Devil May Cry animated series, which is basically like the two things I heard about that were, we decided that we're going to put the most like mid-2000s soundtrack on it for absolutely no reason. And also the director put a self-insert character of himself in there.
Evanescence still working.
Evanescence played the Game Awards. They did a performance at the Game Awards, and I'm just like, why is the point of this, Keeley? Get out. Anyway, the other thing that was nominated was on Until Dawn, the feature film that had absolutely nothing to do with Until Dawn, the game, apart from the name. And Splinter Cell Death Watch, which I didn't even know existed. So,
yeah, I mean, surprised Minecraft movie didn't get more love because, again, it was one of those weird cultural little blips when it came out. Everybody with the chicken jockey and the Jack Black songs of annoyance.
Was that because it was a Minecraft movie and it was all the Minecraft game fans who were pouring out to see it rather than because the conference actually...
Minecraft's been out, over a decade now, so...
2011.
So you got quite a few generations.
But yeah, to sort of run through like the remaining winners, we've got Games for Impact, which was South of Midnight, which is a game I do want to play. It does look great, especially with its animation style. We've got Best Mobile Game was Horse Girls, Uma Musume Pretty Derby, which out of those ones was absolutely the one that was going to win because that has been a cultural phenomenon because people really love their anime horse girls for some reason. Best VR game went to The Midnight Walk, which is another game that has like a really cool sort of stop motion art style. I think that's well deserved. Best action game was Hades 2, to absolutely no one's surprise. Best fighting game, which is another category which wasn't great this year, went to Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves, which itself is very controversial because of the Saudi funding and the inclusion of Ronaldo as a playable character. But considering that the other games in that category include a remaster, 2 retro collections, and a game that isn't even finished, it kind of had to go to Fatal Fury.
I voted for Mortal Kombat in that category.
It's not finished, Keith.
No, that one's finished. That
was the collection.
That's the retro collection. It's 2XKO that's not finished. Best family game was Donkey Kong Bonanza. I hate saying that one because it only works in an American accent. We don't say banana.
Do it, Lee.
Best sim and strategy went to Final Fantasy Tactics, a game from 1997.
Shade.
I mean, Final Fantasy Tactics is supposed to be good, but like sim strategy every year is like a disappointment for anyone who's into sim and strategy, because the main things I saw was like, where the hell is Europa Universalis 5? Because that's the one that people in that
everybody
scene
plays,
is raving about at the moment. So, sports and racing went unsurprisingly to Mario Kart World. And then we have innovation in accessibility, which went to Doom: The Dark Ages. And one problem I have with that category is that they don't explain what its innovation in accessibility actually is. So I don't really know what Doom did.
Yeah,
but
so
I know
one year they gave it to the Xbox control region.
Yeah, I mean, like,
which actually had a kind of, this is great accessibility.
I think Xbox have been pretty good on accessibility features, so it's not really surprising that something under their umbrella did win this. So, but I would like to know what it was.
Yeah,
you know, So that's what won.
Any game? Oh no, Divinity was the big trailer.
Yeah,
and there was the big bait and switch with everybody expecting a Half-Life 3 trailer and it turning out to be Mega Man.
People need to stop expecting Half-Life 3 ever, because it's not going to happen. And I think everyone needs to just like accept that and move on with their lives at this point. Because then also, if it does get announced, then you can be surprised by it rather than disappointed and angry at Mega Man because who's done nothing wrong.
And if they're going to release it, they're going to release it at the same time as they release the new Steam machine. It's going to be an instant seller.
Just say it's coming and it can then win the most anticipated game for the next 3 or 4 years.
But yeah, like sort of running through like the trailer announcements.
So shall we go Divinity, because that was kind of a bit of a gory trailer.
I haven't actually watched
the family safe.
Because I will say that my experience of watching the actual, I didn't watch the actual ceremony. I watched, I followed a live blog as it was happening, the Games Radar one, because it was the most sarcastic. So someone else got to torture themselves by watching Jeff Keighley for my benefit. So.
He didn't even turn up the first half hour of his own show. There was a pre-show before his actual show.
That's a thing that happens every year. You just the pre-show where about half the awards get announced, and then they show a bunch of trailers. Like this is the show, Jeff. It's just that you're just taking a half-hour break before it starts.
Yeah, I mean, so Divinity 3, I think.
It's just called Divinity, I believe.
Yeah, but it's Larian Studios, so Baldur's Gate 3. Everybody loves them.
And also, it'd be very weird if they called it Divinity 3, considering there's like so many of them at this point.
Yeah,
they've been around since 2000. It really surprises me how long that series has been going.
It's their big other franchise that everybody forgets exists.
Yeah, because I know of the only ones I'd really known about was the original Sin 1 and 2. But some of the other things that we had.
All I'll say is if you are going to go and watch that trailer, just brace yourself. Yeah. It's not as pleasant as Baldur's Gate.
Heard, so some stuff that stood out to me, there's a game called Bradley the Badger, which is basically, what if we took a 3D platforming mascot and put him into every other game? It starts with him like being dropped into Bloodborne and then figuring out how to navigate that, and it's just like, okay, I need to know what this game is.
That's pretty fun.
We have Stupid Never Dies, which is basically a weird horror game about like a couple that's like a human and a zombie, and there's like pop punk in the trailer, and it's got a very bold art style, and I don't know what's going on with that either. Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic, which is from Casey Hudson and his new studio, who is the director of Knights of the Old Republic, the original one.
One of the founders of, not one of the founders, but one of the key people at BioWare back in the day, who did pretty much a Mass Effect trilogy.
Mass Effect as well, that game's not coming out for years, though. The studio has just been formed. They're not coming. That game's not coming.
So we've got Star Wars Eclipse to look out for first, if that ever comes. And there's Galactic Races as well, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. At least that looks like it will come out.
Yeah. The return of pod racing, post Empire pod racing.
We have Coven of the Chicken Foot, which is the new game from Bruce Straley, formerly of Naughty Dog. So he was one of the co-directors of The Last of Us, the first one. Mm-hmm. But he left because he was just kind of feeling creatively stagnant and wanted to do something new. And he is doing something very new where you play as like a little old lady being followed around by a monster, and I'm not quite sure what's going on in it, but it looks very interesting. The art style's really good.
It look quite cute.
Sounds good. Looking forward to the HBO live action remake.
Starring Helen Mirren.
There is Ontos, which is the new game from Frictional, who are the devs of Amnesia and Soma. And that's another sort of, it looks like that's the game that's got Stellan Skarsgård in it.
Yep.
We have the new game from Jonathan Blow, but no one should be paying him any money. So
swiftly on from that. Yeah. There was a sheep herding game I spotted.
There is. What was
that
it
looked very interesting from the trailer. I liked the sheep herding game.
Yes, The Free Shepherd is what it's called. That's out in 2027. We have Screamer, which is an anime racing game. I actually quite like the look of that one.
Yeah, it was giving very much Redline vibes,
Yeah.
so that tickled my interest quite a lot.
We have Gang of Dragon, which is the creator of Yakuza decided I'm going to leave Sega and I'm going to make my own games that are completely different, and he's revealed his new game, which is a crime drama set in Japan. But
the Korean lead.
Exactly.
Korean lead.
The key difference is that the lead is Korean, and that's it. We had the Street Fighter movie trailer, which looks very campy and
That's
very
what
fun.
Street Fighter is supposed to be.
It was like, I'm on board for this.
I like
Looking through the cast of that, and David Damarchian as M. Bison is certainly a pick for
I have no idea what the story of this new Street Fighter movie is from that trailer.
Does it need one?
Yeah, because it literally is just, here's a bunch of fights that are happening, and I'm like, to be fair, that's kind of what you're here for, really. So
Well, it'd be nice not to go through Ryu's a grumpy man and going for revenge and. We have to watch that
I
all
loved
day.
it when I saw the poster that 50 Cent was going to be Balrog. Like, oh, great, this is fantastic.
that cast is bizarre. And then we have, there were two sort of interesting looking co-op games that were announced. There's Orbitals, which is like, what if Split Fiction was an 80s anime? That's exclusive to the Switch 2 though, which annoys me slightly. And there's Out of Words, which is basically like stop motion puppets. And it's another sort of co-op adventure thing. They both look really interesting.
Yep.
A trailer featuring Lenny Kravitz, who's appearing in the 007 First Light when that comes out next year.
I watched the demo for that, and that looked quite interesting. Yeah,
From what I've seen, it looks
with-
reasonably interesting.
Yeah, and it's not actually using one of the licensed Bond actors for a change, which looks nice for a change. Yeah.
We have Ace Combat 8 out of nowhere. Like you said, the Mega Man announcement. The show closed on a trailer that has disappointed everyone, which is High Guard, which someone pointed out is literally just a synonym for Overwatch. And that's basically what it is. It's a fantasy Overwatch. And then we have the two announcements that got me very excited, which is the new Control has been announced, where you're playing as Jesse's brother. And it's Devil May Cry now for some reason, and I don't know what's going on, but I trust Sam Lake implicitly. And then, of course, the most exciting thing is that Lara Croft is back properly.
Yes. It's a remake of
two new games. We have, like I said, Legacy of Atlantis, which is a second remake of Tomb Raider 1 after Tomb Raider Anniversary in 2007. And so this is going to be set immediately after the Survivor games, so they're sort of connecting that to the classic Lara sort of style, and that'll be followed in 2027 with Tomb Raider Catalyst, which is going to be a brand new adventure with an older Lara, and I'm very glad to see that they're letting her just be kind of cocky and wielding the dual pistols.
Moan porn as the Survivor series was.
I did watch that trailer, and I was very pleased to see dual wield.
Yeah.
Just the way the pose was as well. It was that looks good.
Back to classic Lara.
Yeah.
I mean, Photor is quite interesting to me, especially with who they've got behind it. I mean, Knights of the Old Republic is one of my all-time favourite games. 2 is better, but you need the restored content one for it to work. I think a lot of people got burnt by that when that got remastered and re-released. When there was, we're bringing all the restored content, and then it was just a legal nightmare to try and get the restored content mod in, and then they just gave up halfway through it, and they're just like, we're not doing it now. So, but it is worth doing if you have the PC version. Go and do the restored content mod.
I think the problem with that game is the same problem as it is with the Star Wars films. You can announce as many as you like, but I don't believe it until it's actually out. Because it's
Galactic Racers will be out. That's a definite one. And again, I think they're trading on that pod racer nostalgia with the 26th anniversary of episode 1 now. So
I want to see how many articles about it have the subheading "This is pod racing."
But it's not really pod racing though, because it's like souped up land speeders and stuff.
Well, I think it's a mix of all vehicles, but it's trying to recapture that kind of episode 1 racer.
Although I did quite like it ended with the kind of like, let's bring back Sebulba, but he's old. It's like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. I think there was an interesting mix of stuff. As I said, at the Game Awards, it's puffery, isn't it? More, it's all let's make everything big and everything, and it's not really about the games themselves.
Yeah, if you want like good award shows, you've got GDC, DICE, and the BAFTAs in the new year, which all tend to be a bit more focused on
actual quality and talent rather than just hype. Do you remember a concept many years ago called cable, which is you had a box, you paid a monthly subscription fee, and lots of different TV channels came in through said box into your house. There was also a satellite version of it many, many moons ago, where you just have to buy one service and all your TV came. Anyone remember that? It feels like a distant memory, I know. Do you remember a concept called Netflix back in the day, where you'd pay some money and some DVDs
Somebody would send you a DVD for the post.
Yeah. And then they set up a streaming service, and all the content was on said streaming service, and you paid one monthly fee, and then you got access to all the content. And then every single other studio went, I'm taking my ball home now, and set up their own rival streaming service. And now you have several different streaming services, all asking for money each month for gated content.
Yeah. Made worse in the UK through licensing and rights issues.
Yes. So now it's going even worse because we're now going back to the cable model of 1 or 2 streaming services owning everything. So it's back to the old Telewest broadband, I think it was around here, versus Sky back in the day, if you ever remember those days back in school. But yes, so Warner Bros Discovery has put itself up for sale. This is after it's ruined itself over multiple years with terrible mismanagement, destroying their animated catalogue, focusing on low quality trash TV.
Shelving finished films.
Yep, shelving finished films. Just general kind of chaos. So they put themselves up for sale, and a broad range of options is what they've asked for to be bidded on, and that was in October. Since then, we've got 2 major competitors. One is Netflix, and one is Paramount in the bidding.
Wasn't it almost like it was a done deal
Pretty
with
much.
Netflix?
Yes.
And then Paramount just went,
Yeah. So basically, Netflix emerged victorious in the bidding war. I think it was $27.75 per share, which gives $72 billion value to Warner Bros Discovery. And then Paramount went, actually, no, we'd like to buy you. And they put in a hostile takeover bid. Paramount, which is itself only worth $16 billion, wants to buy and spend even more money. But it's owned by David Ellison, I think he's the current director of Paramount. His dad, Larry Ellison, is the 2nd richest man in the world. And it's him plus the Saudis plus Jared Kushner's firm, who's Donald Trump's son-in-law. They're all doing a rival bid to try and buy Paramount, and they're backing the cash. Sorry, they're backing the cash for Paramount to buy Warner Bros Discovery. And they're going for $30 per share, which is $108.4 billion. To me, is it even worth $108.4 billion for the licenses and titles that they have? Is it even worth $82.7 billion for the licenses and titles that they have? It's just chaos.
I'll buy the Looney Tunes for a tenner.
Well, the thing is, it's all structured on debt, so whoever wins, consumers lose, because it's just going to be jacked up prices. If any of the franchises you actually like on Warner Bros Discovery, all it does is mean that then they're going to try and charge more to pay that money back, because it's just going to be debt finance loaning.
it's a whole weird situation because it's only certain parts of Warner Bros. So the whole sports side of it is going to be a completely different side.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like...
Well, no. So Paramount are asking for everything.
Oh, okay.
So Paramount are asking for the full acquisition, whereas Netflix are asking for a partial spin-off, which is called Global Linear Networks, which is the non-sporty stuff.
It's nobody's winning here. apart from billionaires, because, as I mentioned earlier, I'm waiting for The Pit to appear in the UK, and that's because we're waiting for HBO. So Warner Bros and HBO started not licensing their new product to Sky, which is where most of their product used to go. Luckily, because of previous deals, we got Peacemaker season 2. But anything new that they were holding back so they could launch it with something big.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, well, if Netflix buys that, does that mean HBO is not going to be launched in the UK and that content will go on Netflix, which will boast of Netflix, because Netflix at the moment is my most expensive subscription service and the one I watch the least, because there's not an awful lot of good content on there. So I was thinking, great, I'll get all my HBO shows. Well, one show in like 10, it's like, I could buy the DVDs of Stranger Things for cheaper.
The problem with Netflix has been for years is they have little faith in most of their original series. The only one that's actually stuck around is probably Stranger Things. They'll put stuff out.
Or Emily in Paris.
Yeah, they'll put stuff out, they'll make an amazing couple of seasons, and it will start to get buzz, and it will start to get to hype, and start to get raised, and then they'll cancel it.
Yeah.
I mean, Scavenger's Reign, which was on HBO. And
it was on HBO, yeah.
Netflix had a great buzz. We really liked it. Gone. No, not doing any more of that. You get your one series, you're done.
There's a similar thing going on with like their investment in games, where basically they sort of went all in on it.
Yeah.
And now they're basically starting to sell off all the studios
that
they bought up.
Because they bought a load of mobile gaming studios, didn't they?
Yep.
They were really focused on mobile gaming. Then they were looking at game streaming, and now they've gone, actually, no, we'll just go back to TV and
Yeah, because I think the major studios off the top of my head that they bought, I think, was Spry Fox, Us Two, who made the Monument Valley games, and Night School, who did Oxenfree. They bought those 3. Spry Fox are now independent again. I don't know what's happening with the other 2, but...
Yeah. But, yeah, so if we look at... well, the problem is, again, we need to look for this US lens, because we're second-hand content for them. Even though we're a massive market, it's all second-hand for the UK. So if you look at the US streaming split, Disney Plus and Hulu own 23% of the market. Amazon Prime have got the 22% of the market, so you've got over 40% tied up between those two. Then it's Netflix with 21%, who used to dominate the whole thing before Disney Plus and Amazon Prime even were a thing. Then you've got HBO Max at 13%, then Paramount Plus at 9%, then Apple TV at 7%, then Peacock at 1%, and then you've got all the others like Tubi and Movie and Pluto.
See, one of the problems with all of this is that's more traditional TV watching, because what figures are showing at the moment is that most people are watching content through YouTube, and that traditional broadcast media, whether it's streaming or whether it's TV, is becoming secondary.
Fallout in America over YouTube, which is a streaming service. A lot of people use YouTube as a streaming service. They've just had a massive fallout with Disney about streaming live sports and things over that. So I think that's also going on in the background, because Google are trying to get themselves a foothold in the streaming market via YouTube. So it's a good way for Netflix to bolster its content library with some actual proper long service, long named titles.
Such classic IP, like including Casablanca.
Yeah.
That was in their announcement.
See, we didn't get, in the UK, I don't think we ever got it. We didn't get the new Animaniacs show. I've never seen that appear in the UK. I don't see. It's never been on Now TV or whatever it is.
It's mainly they're trading for that HBO Max slice, aren't they? That's what it is. So if Netflix wins...
Sorry, it's Max. Oh wait, no, sorry, it's HBO Max again.
Wasn't it just HBO and then...
No, it was
just
HBO Max, then it went to Max, then it went just to HBO, and now it's back to HBO Max again.
Yeah.
But yeah, so HBO Max, 13% market share, that's what the debate is over more than anything else. So if Netflix wins it becomes the big streamer again. If Paramount wins it, it then becomes big enough to compete with Netflix and Amazon Prime.
But if you're an audience viewer, and you go, okay, Netflix owns HBO, and then Netflix goes, well, you've got to pay you $18.99 or whatever it is for Netflix, and then you've got to pay another fee for the stuff that we own that's on HBO. Aren't people just going to go, well, I don't want any of it now? Why am I paying double for all the content that you own? It's like, you know, Disney could just go, well, we're going to separate out Disney Plus, so we're going to have Disney Plus, we're going to have because isn't there some National Geographic and stuff? So we're going to splinter everything that we own into every separate little thing. So you want to watch something on everything, but you don't get it all. Like you were saying, we used to get it all on one, and it's like splintering it down to like just exploit the audience. So it's like we'll put such and such a thing on one channel, then we'll put such and such a thing on another channel.
The problem is the capitalism has got addicted to the subscription service.
Yeah.
10 years ago, it was easy to go and buy a Blu-ray or go and buy a DVD of what you want, and then you owned that physical media. Yeah. Same for video games. You'd walk into a shop, you'd buy a physical video game, and that would be yours to own in perpetuity. You could resell it, you could do whatever you like with it. We've even seen Nintendo recently having the worst combination of both, where you now have a game card, but you still have to download the game. So it's basically just a physical license key that you have to put in the Switch too. Yeah. So it's this whole thing of, right, you don't own the content, you just own a license to the content, which is not even perpetual. And it's something we've discussed on the show many, many times. It's not going to change anytime soon, unfortunately. The only way you could go back to where it was in previously is go and buy the TV series that you like to watch and go and buy your comfort show.
There is a bit of a shift going on though. Like it's a small one at the moment, but it is like we were even seeing like younger people just being like, do you know what, screw stuff, all these subscriptions, I'm just going to go through my nan's DVDs.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, a lot of those titles which you can get on physical media aren't on streaming services because of license issues, because of rights issues.
Or they are, but they're there to rent or buy, and you've got to pay for them again on top of your subscription.
Yeah. Perfect example, I bought Viv the 90210 box set. I imported the German box set because that had the license rights to the original music versus buying the UK one, which has had all the music replaced because the license rights have expired on that on the UK version of the DVDs. So you can listen to the show that you used to watch that you knew had music queued up because it was specific licensed music for a specific scene without the licensed music.
Yeah, it happened with Northern Exposure when that got released on DVD the first time. They had to take out the licensed music. But if you're spending all this money on acquisition, what are you going to be investing in actual new content? So you're going to have to wait to recuperate some of that cash.
Oh, we've seen this with Microsoft buying up 2 major publishers and then deciding, we're going to have to close a bunch of studios.
Yeah,
that's what happens.
The one thing over here as well is there's this big issue of if Netflix does buy Warner Bros Discovery, that is another movie studio which is unlikely to release titles to the cinema going forward.
Well, saying that, Warner Bros aren't exactly doing that with a lot of the content they've got.
They have released some films recently with DC Studios, to be fair, but what does that mean? Is that going to be just Netflix DC? So we're going to get the same Marvel Netflix version, but it'll just be, we won't even get it at the cinema, it'll just be DC films will be streamed on Netflix first.
I don't think they're even thinking about all of this. They're just thinking about, we want it and we're going to buy it.
Yeah, we want IP.
Yeah, we just want it. We don't really care what we're going to do with it afterwards. We just want to own it to stop somebody else from owning it.
Yeah, I'd imagine the big DC blockbuster type things will still get a cinema release, and anything that.
But it's all about mid-tier movies, which what cinemas used to survive on.
Well, it just seems like all of these kind of people with loads of money are just so infantile that it is just a case of like, I want to own that because I want to put good content out. It's just like, I want to own it so somebody else doesn't. I want it. It's all real flipping
it's all
Violet Beauregard type stuff. Daddy, I want Netflix. I want Paramount. I want whatever.
It's all based on future forecasts of revenue. That's the thing. It's we'll spend this money now because it'll give us twice the money in 10 years' time. It's exactly the same with what's going on as AI. You see this card game of money moving around in a circle, and it's, well, I'll give you 10 billion if you go and buy 10 billion worth of my processors or 10 billion worth of my GPUs. So I'll invest.
Ignore what's going on over here, where it looks like there's a massive pin heading right towards your bubble.
Yeah, and the thing is with AI, it's all future forecasts because you got to think all of this investment in technology, it has to be replaced pretty much on a 5-year cycle. So all of this thing, especially in most modern PCs, RAM prices has tripled, even quadrupled over the last few months because next year's stock has been bought by AI companies.
Yeah,
there's no consumer chips out there anymore.
I just think audiences are losing out. Mm-hmm. You know, the only people that are gaining anything here are the people with the money at the top. So audiences aren't gaining anything really. Yeah. You know, if anything, you're going to pay more for less.
Yeah, and you're going to get less quality services. You're going to get less investment. You're going to get. Well, I think so. What's going to happen if either of them buy it? Exactly what's going to happen. The board go. They've had their cash out. They've had the payout. The management team is going to be completely reduced.
Yeah.
They'll have all these double roles that they'll want to get rid of straight away. So all that'll happen is you get mass redundancies, creatives will get kicked out, there'll be even more infighting for the same resources. You've got to pay back that loan somehow, so that means prices are going to increase for consumers, which means less investment in the actual shows that they're going to go out. All it's going to be is rinse and repeat quality of content as well. And it's like, as we've seen, every franchise has been ran into the ground over the last few years. It's a case of you can't just have a unique original series about something. If it's successful, we've got to run it into the ground. We've got to make 15 different versions. Stranger Things is case in point. That was supposed to be an anthology series. They did season 1. It was so successful, they went, no, we want 4 more seasons of the same. Thank you very much. So throw all your ideas out and now go and write 4 more series of stuff that you haven't even got plotted out.
Yeah. I think some of the winners in this, particularly theatrically, are going to be smaller studios like the A24s, who are going to start mopping up with like really interesting new content that audiences are going to see, while the studios keep releasing massively, hugely expensive blockbuster movies that just don't recoup their content. You know, people have complained this year that the big kind of superhero films like Superman and Fantastic Four didn't clear the $1 billion box office, which seemed to be the thing of like, if you release a superhero movie, it's like you've got to make $1 billion. So I think while they're all kind of fighting over this kind of stuff, I think it's going to mean that smaller studios are going to go, yeah, we can release stuff, and it's like it's going to get an audience, and we're going to make enough money to sustain ourselves and reinvest, which these studios just don't seem like. They're not interested in it.
The other thing that we failed to look at as well at the moment is the Orange Gibbon is in charge over there, and his son-in-law's...
Don't say that, we want to go to America.
But his son-in-law is directly involved in one of the deals, and knowing him, he will use all of his political might and influence to make sure that he's going to win out on top, regardless of who wins the...
We've already seen how the FCC in America is very... in favour of Donald Trump in its decisions.
We've seen things like his interference in, brain's going out of my head, Late Show.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah. So he's interfered with Jimmy Kimmel, he's interfered with Stephen Colbert, I think, and all those kind of shows where he's just trying to control broadcast media over there.
Yeah, don't show any kind of left-wing socialist-themed TV shows.
Yeah.
Don't criticise things.
Yeah, and when your son-in-law's directly involved in one of the bids.
Yeah.
So...
I'm all for something happening if it meant that I could go to a streaming service and watch every single Looney Tunes cartoon ever made, plus all the episodes of Freakazoid, Pinky and the Brain, Animaniacs.
But they won't. They'll just vault it and then they'll drip it out on occasional release. It'll be exactly the same as Disney is. You'll have access to what we want you to have access, and the rest of the stuff will be vaulted forever.
Yeah.
So, again,
whoever wins, we lose. No, we
So it's a terrible situation. So, as we said, go out and find the smaller studios, go and find the independent stuff. Go and check out Patreon and stuff like that. There's some really good stuff being made on there. YouTube is probably not a great place to go and find stuff, but there's some original content creators out there who are making fantastic TV quality, if not better, stuff on there. Go and find some of those.
In conclusion, killer teens.
Right, it is a festive time of the year. So I'm going to pull out my sack.
This is a family show.
And the first thing that everybody needs to have at Christmas is a selection box.
Awesome.
So everybody gets a selection box.
I shall play Santa's elf, and I shall deliver these.
Yes.
I shall disappear from... Although my voice will still be heard. If you hear any crashes, that's not me.
Through the magic of cinema, he disappears and he appears. Thank you.
You know, you could have just walked around that way, which would have been much easier than coming to me. Right, the first thing, and then I've got everybody a little present.
Oh, I've got to do it again.
I'll read it. But it's mystery present this time, so they're all on a similar theme, but feel free to delve into the bag.
Oh, is it going to be select?
Select.
Oh, well, okay. What I shall do is I shall go over to the other side.
You want to go over to the other side?
I'll go the long way. You can hear my voice. It's like proper TV, this is, kids.
Hooray.
Should we go for Lee? You're going to close your eyes and put your hand in.
Okay. Right.
Not that.
Forgot this one.
Okay, Sam. Stop touching that.
Whatever this is. Thank you, Ray.
Don't forget producer Viv manning the desk behind me.
And thank you, Vic.
There's a bit of rustling noise. I'll put my microphone closer. Oh, that was a large parcel. I'm back.
And then
You
you go first.
Oh, you hold my sack. I mean, it's
One's falling
no.
out.
Oh, sure, we'll have that one.
You're gonna have that one.
I have one.
Okay. I'll go for that one. Feel free to reveal your presence.
It's
There it is.
it's a
As
box.
Darth Vader would say, well, I've felt your
Wrapped.
presence.
Some ASMR.
So I've got the most annoying one, which I don't think Viv will be glad of. So mine comes here there.
Oh my god. Okay, so I have.
This is being extremely resilient. I don't like it.
I have Don't Be a Dick.
Do you want to read the instructions on the back?
Which says a hilarious, Nature's Naughty Side, a hilarious card game for grown-ups who love nature and a little naughtiness. Well, that's me all over. It says there are lots of naughty names in nature, and we've brought them together in this hilarious card game. Titter at a tuft titmouse, chuckle at the large cockchafer, snigger at the sticky willy, but whatever you do, don't get left holding the dick. The player ends up the game with their dick in their hands, loses. It's as simple as that. Well,
Nice family game.
I'll have to get the pampas grass out as well from when we play that.
Upside down pineapple.
1970s reference there for you kids out there.
It's an upside down pineapple nowadays.
Is it an upside down? Well, obviously gave up in the 80s.
Yeah. Champs, do you want to say what you got?
What's the best thing? Get ready to rank random stuff. Choose a category, draw a secret number, and then what sea creature gets 2 out of 10? You say a blobfish. Your friends have their own random category and secret number. To beat the game, work together to line up everything from best to worst without revealing your secret numbers or running out of lives. And there is a picture on the back ranking bananas as the best and volcanoes as the worst. I don't know what the category is.
Whatever it is, I'm not sure I agree.
Sam, how about yourself?
I've been trying to get it out so I can do a dramatic reveal over the top of this, but I don't think that's going to work quickly enough. But I've got the world's smallest sandbag toss. So yes, it's a. It doesn't have any instructions on the box, but I assume it is what it says it is.
Yep. Awesome.
So, yeah, looks like fun.
And I have Pants on Fire, the outrageous game of deceit. So tell a true story about the worst present you ever received. Lie about auditioning to appear on a TV talent show. Pick a card and decide whether to create a whopping lie or reveal a compelling truth. You have 30 seconds to tell your story. If your player suspects you of being fast and loose with the truth, they will ding you out. Who will manage to mislead everyone and become crowned the most ultimate deceiver? It contains cards, bell, pants crown, 50-point tokens and instructions. Just like it because that's a good bell.
Yeah, it's a real dinger.
Yeah.
So it's Would I Lie to You, the board game, basically.
Basically, yes. Would I like to do the board game?
I'm assuming the bell is like you ring it if you believe someone's lying to you or something.
Yes.
Like that, yeah.
I've already found my favourite cards.
What did they say?
It says knobweed and giant beaver.
Yeah.
So those are good. I like those.
So anyway, it was just a little thought and bring some jollity to the team, and then we'd all have just a little board game or similar to play with over the Christmas holidays.
Feedback with that with filthy language.
Slightly different from our usual. We usually have a regular roundup of the One Geek Thing that we've been up to since we've been away, but I thought we'd have a One Geek year. So what has been our standout franchise, TV show, book, comic, film, video game? That's the thing we've most loved in 2025. So to kick us off, Sam.
I think the the film I've enjoyed the most has probably been Sinners, which we've mentioned quite a bit already in the Golden Globes chat, but I just thought visually and in terms of the music and just the overall kind of style of it, I absolutely loved everything about it. It just completely blew me away. Since we've already talked a fair bit about that today, though, I'm also going to give a quick mention to Stranger Things, which I've really enjoyed the what's come out of the final season so far. There's still about half the season left to go, but it's like such a huge tentpole franchise for Netflix, and a lot of these like really big shows have trouble sticking the landing a little bit, and it's built this big mythology up, but so far it feels like they're doing a good job with it. All the characters have really kind of leveled up. They're sort of keeping it exciting to watch.
Do they all look 45 now?
Yes.
They don't look 12, they don't look 45. And they have introduced some new younger characters this season as well. So so the little sister of Mike is a bit older, but is now about the same age that the other characters were when the series first started. And my favourite new character, who's this little fat kid, who is just the most gloriously unpleasant child. I've really gone to town in just making him really like obnoxious, horrible little piece of work. But the writers and the actor have clearly had a lot of fun creating that character, I think, and he just makes every scene twice as entertaining. So yeah, I will go with Sinners and Stranger Things.
Cool, awesome. Lee, how about yourself?
So I've already talked quite a bit about my game of the year earlier in this very show, because it is Clair Obscur Expedition 33. So rather than go over all that again, I'm instead going to highlight a game that I've played recently, but is going to make it on my list of games of the year, which, by the way, will be up on my YouTube channel on New Year's Eve. All will be revealed, my top 6. But one of those is Unbeatable, which just came out, and it is a rhythm game where music is illegal and you do crimes. Basically, you are sort of a slacker, is the best term I can come up with, called Beat, and you're basically living in this world where music has been outlawed, and you have to, but you're going to create music anyway with a band of people who are also just defiant of everything going on, and it is basically just, let's form a raucous garage band and play music while beating up cops, and you beat up cops to the music, to the tune of the music, because it's all rhythm game gameplay, so it's all just, you have 2 tracks and you have to press buttons in time with the music, and it is a lot of fun, and I've been enjoying that recently. It's just such a really good experience, because it's got like that sort of punk rock attitude. It's a very scrappy little game. It's got some technical issues, but in a weird way that kind of works in its favour, because it adds to that feeling of, it's that sort of rough and ready garage band kind of feel to it. You've got this sort of very interesting art style, which is sort of anime character designs and sort of almost like a zine aesthetic, I think is the best way to describe it. And then the soundtrack's just really good as well. So, and the ending went into places where it just has this really surprisingly emotional ending as well, which just, brings the whole experience together. Plus it's got like just a big arcade mode, so if you finish the story and just want to keep playing the songs, just jump into that and just have fun with it. And yeah, it has quickly become one of my games of the year, and I highly recommend it. If you want to see, if you want to know more about it, go to Rock Paper Shotgun, where I wrote the review. And I'm very proud of that too. So yeah, that's my choice.
Awesome, thank you very much. Keith, how about yourself? What's your one geek thing of the year?
It's one-ish. It's one-ish. Because I thought about this when you said about it, and I found it really hard to kind of hone it down to anything specific. So I am going to do like Lee. I'm going to do a rundown of some of the comics that I've really enjoyed this year. So nebulously, I'm going to be picking DC, but I will get to one specific thing. But I think DC comics and DC film and TV content has had a really good year. The comics have kind of come out of their kind of grim, dark, everything has to be kind of like really grim and match the kind of feel of the filmic universe, and have been doing some really interesting things. A lot of the absolute titles this year have been really great.
Sorry, I've got to stop you there because the Superman film, my best review of the year I have ever seen was somebody wrote, "This film is far too comic booky."
Well, in my opinion, it's brilliant purely because of that.
Yes.
So stuff like the Absolute Universe books have been really good. They've had the Batman, the Superman, the Wonder Womans, which have been more kind of traditional stuff, but they did the Absolute Martian Manhunter, which was phenomenal. It was a very limited run. I think it was only 8 issues. Go and read that. It's absolutely brilliant. They've brought back the kind of 70s blue uniform costume Batman recently in an ongoing title with that. They've been using lots of stuff. They've gone with the whole DC all-in theme for a lot of their books over the past couple of years, which have been really good. Some really interesting books going on at DC, lots of interesting things going on. A little bit of controversy here and there for other characters, looking at you, Red Hood. But the films have been, and TV shows, so James Gunn has been brought in with Peter Staffan as well to kind of take charge of that, wrestling it off some other guy, I don't know what his name is, some director or whatever it is. And so we had Creature Commandos, which I've already talked about on this show in the past, which I really enjoyed. And then we had the Superman movie, which was also, for me, just possibly may now be edging into my favourite Superman movie. I know Christopher Reeve's film is still there and it's got the Superman thing, but every time I rewatch this new one, it's like, it's so gloriously bright and like just joyful, and I really love it for it. But my pick of the year, about all of these things DC related, is going to be Peacemaker Season 2. Which I've only just recently finished watching because I kind of wanted to keep it because I know there's not going to be another one in the near future, potentially not at all. But there was something about the gloriousness of this character who originated way back. I think he's one of the Carlton characters that DC brought in a while back, which was all part of the thing where Alan Moore did Watchmen, because originally Watchmen was going to be all of these Carlton characters. So the comedian would have been Peacemaker and Rorschach would have been the Question. There's a whole thing. Just look it up online, kids. It's fine. So now he's had his own TV show. He started off in the Suicide Squad, which was James Gunn's first DC movie, which he did when he was in that kind of bit of a period where Marvel was like, but then he went back, and then he was back here again at DC. Peacemaker was in that. He did some stuff with Rick Flag Jr., which kind of has had repercussions in the series. Rick Flag Sr. appeared in Creature Commandos, now in the live action. But the whole thing, Daniel Brooks, as Adeola, and then Adrian Chase, who's the vigilante. But it's just such a joyfully, brilliantly, obscenely violent, funny, heartfelt. I care for every single character in there. They did things with the Peacemaker's family, and they had alternate universes, which was like when they get to where they reveal what the crux of this alternate universe is, you just go, they went there in 21st century 2025 America. Bravo, standing ovation for that, guys. But it was just fantastic, and I cared deeply about all the characters, and it ends in a way that you just go, you
sods.
Yeah. Apparently stuff will be resolved in future films and TV shows. I have a lot of trust in James Gunn that he will do that. But I've just loved it, and it reminds me of why I loved the DC universe originally. It was the first kind of non-British comics that I got into that were readily available on street corners in the UK. Marvel came a little bit later for me, but there's something about the DC stuff, and I love the fact that James Gunn really understands these characters. He's embraced the ridiculousness of comics characters and not tried to make it real. And he's just gone, yeah, it's weird, it's freaky, it's insane. The final episode of the Peacemaker series where they start going through these dimensional portals, there's some stuff that happens in that you just go, this is deliriously brilliant. And I just loved it. I thought it was fantastic. It improved on the previous season. The Foxy Shazam song that they used at the beginning with the choreography, which someone close to me has suggested Geeky Brummie do their own version of the Peacemaker choreography interest opening. That might happen at some point. But that song...
If you're making me do that, I'm making you do the Alan Wake 2 dance.
That's a deal. But the thing that as you go through the series, you realise that whole intro sequence tells you everything you know about what's going to happen in the show, and the song kind of relates to all of that. And it's just beautifully packaged, perfectly formed, 8 episodes of phenomenal TV that I've absolutely loved. And I've loved it. It's fantastic, and I've really, really enjoyed every single minute of that show. But yeah, so DC entirely has had a great year. Peacemaker 2, Season 2 has been my absolute pick.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thank you.
Sorry, went a bit long there, but still.
So for mine, I had a bit of a coin toss earlier. Outer Worlds 2 was pretty high up to start off with. It's fun. It's got the quirky kind of humour that I love. It's Obsidian all over. And I said Knights of the Old Republic 2, one of my favourite games of all time, Obsidian. I appreciate it's not the same Obsidian then, but it's still got that Fallout New Vegas. This has got that kind of slightly offbeat.
I think it is still Josh Sawyer. So.
Yeah, it's still got that slightly offbeat kind of Obsidian fun, which I like in a video game. I think they kind of nailed the word weird, quirky, right? Everything's terrible. It's corporatocracy, but we'll have some fun alongside it with gross out humour and those kind of things. So if you've not played the Outer Worlds 2, I would suggest having a go. It's different to the first game. It's a very kind of different setup, a different RPG style. It's akin to Mass Effect 2 versus Mass Effect 1. So it's kind of a completely different way of doing an RPG, but it's still fun at the same time. And the floor system is a genius. Think of, so for like me, who has to go and check every single corner and be a pack rat and like pick up everything, there's like, it'll give you a floor and say like, oh, we've noticed that you just like don't actually do the mission that you're supposed to be on. You're too busy looking in the corner, so we're going to give you a floor now, which will give you some advantages and some disadvantages. So the way you play your game gives you these kind of flaws, which are some useful, some not useful. So it's a different way of playing rather than just having the standard, I'll just be a stealth archer, which is every single, or stealth sniper, which is most RPGs. So really recommend that. But my series, and you picked up on this earlier, which nobody's given it any love, which it really should have, and it is Andor, because that second series is one of the finest series of TV that's ever been made. Even though it's Star Wars, it's not in your face Star Wars. Star Wars is a setting for this tale. It is not the be all and end all. It is how the universe works, and you understand the rules, and it uses Star Wars as that setting. But I think Andor is one of the greatest pieces of modern television. The cast is perfect. Diego Luna, Carl Soler, Stellan Skarsgård, Genevieve O'Reilly is amazing, Denise Gough, Faye Marseille, Elizabeth DeLau, as kind of, this is her first major role outside of university. It's like competing with Stellan Skarsgård on an acting platform and coming off as an equal is amazing. Ben Mendelsohn, for his cameo, is one of the greatest cameos of ever. And we finished that series, and I instantly went, I need to watch Rogue One now. And that was that thing for that series. That series is so perfectly paced, and it's just the biggest run-up to a movie that it ever could be. And consider it's in Star Wars, and consider it's a prequel to a film that was a spin-off film which didn't really need to exist and was slotted into canon just as a, here's an extra story. Such an amazing piece of work. And I can't really say, Tony Gilroy, how did you come up with this, and how did you make this in Star Wars and get away with it? I suppose.
Yeah, it was a definite mood, and at least they tied it up, because I was very concerned at some point when a certain droid was like just sent off, and I was like, you can't just leave that to be a kind of like, you know, dangling plot thread. But they they wrapped that up, and I was very pleased with that. But again, the ending of the show, emotional, like wow, you just kind of go, well, that's a reveal.
Yeah.
Which I won't mention for spoiler reasons.
Yeah.
But it heightens because you know what's going to happen to these characters.
Yes. And I think the way they paced it of 3 blocks of 3, so you had 3 years, and you had 3 episodes per year. So the original series of Andor was kind of over an extended period of time. So you get from the original founding of, I'm just a thief, I just want to get away and do my job, to, right, I'm now part of this rebellion thing, whatever that is. And then you see the founding of the rebellion over these 3 years from these weird kind of little fractious groups. You get the whole Saw Gerrera sideline, which if you watch Clone Wars, and if you're a bit of a Star Wars nerd, you've got that integration into the deeper stuff if you want to go deeper into it. But I think the story and the plotting was just so well done of these. Let's take a year, right, let's spend a year on Gorman, now let's spend a year building up the rebellion and the whole thing with the Senate and getting Mon Mothma's character more involved. It was just so well structured.
Yeah, you hear the term mature used a lot when they go, we're going to make a mature version of this kids thing. Star Wars is, in a sense, essentially a kids show.
It's a fairy tale that started off as.
But they made this mature in a way that was like, it was mature in the emotions, in the storytelling, in the content. You know, it was very relevant to a lot of the political sentiments happening across the world at the moment.
Yeah.
And it didn't shy away from stuff that was pretty hard hitting.
Yeah, and I think it also perfectly captured the beginning of the Empire crumbling, when it becomes this whole monolithic thing of it forgets what damage it's causing, it forgets the small people who actually support the Empire, the people who go to work, that do the thing, they get the thing, and everybody just gets involved in their own little personal political sphere and ignores the whole. And you can see the downfall of empires, you can see the downfall of thing of when you ignore the people who actually make this thing in the first place, and you start to crush spirit, you start to crush freedoms just to get your job done, because that's the quickest way of doing it.
Yep.
It's such a great encapsulation of that.
It was also good the way it showed that certain characters that were involved in that was like, even you're not safe from this regime. It's like when your time and usefulness has come to an end.
When your number comes up, you'll be the first one along the wall. Yes. So if you've not watched it, I do kind of urge you to watch Andor. Even if you hate Star Wars, I think it is still worth watching. And if you love Star Wars, you should love this as well. Thank you for joining us for the Geeky Brummie show this year. We'll be back again next year, and we'll be back again for year 10. Let's say
10 years, man. Wow.
No grey hairs at that point. I don't know what's happened since then. But, thank you for joining us for this episode. Lee, where can we find you online?
You can find me on YouTube at Bob the Pet Ferret, and on Blue Sky under Bob the Pet Ferret, and also as a freelance games writer, you can find me across the internet writing about games, mostly at Silicon Era, but as I stated earlier in the show, I did manage to land a review at Rock Paper Shotgun, so hopefully you'll start seeing me in more places. And yeah, you can also find me on geekybrummie.com every Friday doing the games release roundup, which will resume in the new year because we're done.
Thank you, Roy. Sam, how about yourself?
You can find me on Blue Sky and Instagram at SDEdwards89, and also on the Geeky Brummie website every Thursday with the film roundup.
Keith, how about yourself?
You will find me under the moniker of Hard Luck Hotel on the good social medias. I'll leave that up to you to decide which those are. But otherwise, it's Wednesday on the Geeky Brummie socials and website with comics. There'll be a bit of a break over the holiday season, but look out for a random selection of comics I've liked. It's not a top 10 or a top 25. It's just a bunch of books that I think you should be reading. But that should appear at some point in the over the holiday season. I won't commit to when. It'll be a Wednesday. But yeah.
Oh, while we're on the subject, I will be doing a top 50 most notable games as decided by maths, as I do every year.
I can't do maths, so that's why mine's just a random selection.
It's Metacritic, it's got Google Trends, it's award shows, just all crammed together, and then whatever comes at the end, I have to write about them.
Thank you very much. If you've been enjoying our Advent Calendar series whilst this has been on, and we are in the festive season, as you can probably tell.
Really?
Yeah, but if you missed any of those, well, they'll be pinned at the top of our Instagram channel. So you can go onto Instagram and watch back Advent Calendar for 2025. Some really great recommendations of places to go, video games to play, films to watch, which aren't your traditional films, comics that feature Birmingham in some kind of content.
Well, some of them did.
Yeah, events that are going on, so really do go and have a check
I
those.
couldn't find games in and around Birmingham, so it was just British games. And the first 2 games I picked aren't even in the UK. So.
But yeah, there's some really good board game cafes which I'm looking at. Went to the lovely people at Sliced and Dice recently. They've got a crowdfunder, which I'll probably pop in the link as well if you want to go and invest in that. It's great to keep some independent gaming places here in Birmingham and beyond. But we really do appreciate you, and thank you as the usual, like, subscribe, you know the buttons. Everybody talks about the buttons down the bottom. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you, and you can see us. If not, if you're listening via podcast, you can watch us on Spotify as well now. So that was the other thing I was going to say. So if you want to see us in glorious
Spotify vision,
you can watch us on Spotify.
It's like green hue,
which is like,
yes.
Randomly, we're just going to drop the quality out of nowhere.
But if you're listening to
you
us,
can tell I've been binging Lateral all year. So, and just the amount of times it's just like, no, I'm going to be running at 240 for no reason. You can't change it. So enjoy.
Yeah. But if you're listening to us, thank you for listening. And yes, I know we do a lot of camera stuff, so we try and balance out and explain what the hell is going on.
That sounds so dodgy. We do some camera stuff for you special viewers.
If you want to see us in glorious definition, we're on YouTube and Spotify, but
we don't have that account.
If you want to see our camera stuff in glorious definition.
Well, you want us to get relocated those Peacemaker opening scenes.
Hey, that's just a dance.
Just none of the rest of Peacemaker. Thank you very much.
That's not offering something else.
Thank you for joining us this year. We really hope you enjoyed 2025 listening and watching or seeing us at the Geeky Brummie or at Birmingham Anime Film Festival, which will be back in 2026 maybe. So keep your eye peeled for that one. But yes, thank you for watching, listening, viewing, however you've consumed our Geeky Brummie content, whether it's at geekybrummie.com with the games, comics or films roundups. Really do appreciate it, and we will see you in 2026. But for now, goodbye everybody.
Merry Christmas, children.
And a Happy New Year.
I was a bit disappointed that they didn't
They're
find
actual proper animals.
Yeah, they're proper animals, but surely you could get some better ones. You know, there must be some really filthy ones out
I think
there.
my favourite one is something like the titmouse.
There's bearded tit, colon rectum, large cockchafer, sticky willy, tufted titmouse, family jewels milkweed, blue-footed booby, sparkle muffin, cock of the rock, rough-faced shag, slippery dick, stiff cock, that's a good one, woodcock, nipplewort, there's a lot of cocks, horny toad, screaming hairy armadillo, cockatoo, wonderpuss, knobweed obviously, sausage tree, shaggy soldier, cock-eyed squid, giant beaver, of which there's not a lot, and a dick chisel.
You know, when we talk about superheroes, this is what Lee is.
Yeah.